it's not set up for auto enrolment. They've had it for years. So we've now got to tear that up and create a complete new pension scheme for them. Now, you've also got to make sure that the pension scheme offers good value for money and it will work with your payroll process. So once you've chosen the pension scheme, that should be done around 6 months. You've then got to assess and enrol your staff. And from the staging date, you need to assess your staff to work out your duties to each of them. And once you've done this, you need to ensure the staff will be automatically enrolled by sending the pension provider all the staff information. You also have to provide a letter to all members of staff to explain what's going to happen, sit with them individually if you want, or you can get your accountant or financial advisor to do that. So you have to write to your staff within 6 weeks of your staging date. And you also have to keep a record of all these letters that you're sending to the staff, which I'll explain in a minute. So once you've wrote to your staff, your auto-enrollment duties start. And so you must keep records of how you complied with the duties, how you monitor their ages and earnings of the staff. Because say, for example, you've got a member of staff who all of a sudden becomes 21 and you give them a pay rise, you then have got to run the auto-enrollment again and put those into the scheme. So you need to be monitoring. If you've got several employees, if they're getting older or if they're having a wage increase, you need to make sure that once they hit that barrier, then you auto-enroll them.
What about people who do overtime every week? Does that get included in their gross wage?
That is up to you. Because overtime isn't guaranteed. Again, some people are rewarding their staff by saying, well, you are doing the overtime, so will they?
But you don't have to.
No, you can. I've had a discussion with one employer 3 weeks ago, and they were worried about that because a lot of their staff do overtime, but they're just going on basic pay. So you've got to keep your records. To go to your question, some staff may think, well, actually, I don't want to pay into the scheme because I want to keep the money in my pocket. Then they have the option to opt out. But to confuse things, you've got to opt them in first. You've got to put them into the scheme, and then they've got to then complete a form to opt out. And then every year, you've got to, within a month, and if they've paid anything, if they've paid anything in, you've got to return the money back to them immediately, otherwise you face a fine. Which again, we don't know how much the fine is going to be.
It all sounds very long-winded.
Yeah. And also, if you have opted out, you then have to rerun the whole enrollment thing every 3 years, and you have to opt those opt-out staff back in, and then they then have to opt out again. So it's an absolute minefield to solve the pension crisis, basically, because we're all living too long. We're not paying attention. Because I remember when I started as a financial advisor, the average age for a bloke to live was 62 to 65. Now it's hitting 80.
You're not that old.
No,
you're not that old.
Yes.
To imagine that when people live.
Yes.
What about women? How much is that?
Oh, we always live longer.
Yes, I'm
Oh, you're 80,
85.
83 to 85,
I'm
your
not
average
going to
age
live
now.
to 83, 85.
But to go back to the uptown, with the new, John presented to you several months ago about pension changes, whereby now you can access your pension. If you're a member of staff, you'd be stupid to opt out. Because if you're going to pay in for them, they're paying in. So they're getting money. Yeah, and they can all cash it in later on, with a tax liability, but it's extra money.
So basically it's making employers pay for future pension rather than the government pay for
Well,
future
rather than
pension.
the taxpayer. Yeah, so you'd be paying it either way.
What happens if you're employing someone who works in a couple of other jobs?
If you're paying them and they hit a certain level, or if they've got several jobs,
they will be
If they're in the
time.
if they're in there the lowest one, you still, if they want to join your pension scheme.
But it's not an automatic opt-in then,
No.
they've got to ask.
So they could, in effect, be in
Yeah,
three
so if
different.
someone, say, hypothetically, someone's got 3 jobs, they earn 10 grand in each job, then they will automatically be enrolled in each pension scheme with each employer.
Which is the only total 10 grand over the 3 jobs.
But then they would fall in the first category, they have the option to opt in.
And which employer did you go with? To those choose?
No, you go with all 3. Because because you will have a legal requirement to provide them with a pension.
Right, so then 3 employees would be paid in 1% of whatever they earn or whatever.
No, because if they're in the lower amount, that lower amount, first one, they have the option to say, I want a pension scheme, but you don't have to pay into it. Because there's those 3 levels of income banding that I mentioned.
Okay.
The easiest way to see how it affects you is to go on the pension regulator website. And there's
Sorry, did you say that it was tax deductible pension?
it's business expense.
Not if you're only a limited company, it's
So if you're a limited company, it's a business expense.
but if you're not.
No. Because it saves you corporation tax.
Okay.
So not as a sole trader?
No.
So if you're self-employed, you're just paying national insurance stamps, so it doesn't affect you from that point of view.
No. So you then got the scheme set up, you then got to do a declaration of compliance to the pension regulator. Now, you may have the situation where you have no staff that want to join the scheme and you don't qualify to join the scheme, but you still have to have a pension scheme. And you still have to do the checklist and send it off.
You say that again?
You still have to go through this process if you have, say like my wife, she's got a limited company, she's the only employee of that limited company, she's still got to set up a company pension scheme.
If you're self-employed, if you don't have anybody to do
You're self-employed, you don't have to. No,
So
only
if
if you
you-
employ people.
Or limited.
If you employ a self-employed person,
Well, you're not employing a self-employed person, are you? So they're not employed by you.
Same as you with John, isn't it?
it's just 2 self-employed people working together.
Okay, so now,
So then every 18 months, you then have to do a certificate to the pension regulator to say what you're doing, and then every 3 years you have to go through this whole process again.
even if everybody's on to enroll.
You have to go through the process just to see if anybody has been missed. It's probably one of the worst topics to discuss and the most confusing. But
Who came up with this idea?
Government. It's got to be.
yes, the government in line with the pension industry and the pension regulators. They're trying to make it the simplest way.
Yeah, they have one human, don't they?
Well, I'm lost the will to live.
So where can you,
It's
as a
online this
financial
afternoon,
advisor,
so-
help us as businesses?
It all depends what level of service you want. Like some employers just says, right, you go and find me a pension scheme, talk to all my staff. So like the one in Bala, I'm sitting down now with all the individual staff, explaining what the pension scheme is, what their options are, and then sitting down with the payroll officer, setting them up on the pension scheme, and then doing an ongoing annual review just to make sure that they're
And then you'd be in
compliant.
charge of the 18-month and the 3-year as well.
But then some people just want a general chat and then they're going to do it themselves. But You've heard how complicated it is.
Yeah.
But your first port of call must be your PAYE reference and go on the pension regulator website. Because you'll be able to see yourselves where you're going to fit in and then start planning, because it may sound complicated, it is complicated, and you need to leave yourself at least 12 months.
Does this the pension regulator website have like a checklist on there? Does it?
Yeah. You put your reference in and it will give you an individual report.
Okay.
With all the dates, what you need to do. What it won't do for data protection, it won't keep your company details on that website, and it won't print off your details on the report, but it's specific to your staging date.
Can you go on to it without putting your PAYE reference in?
No. You need that to find us. If you don't have PAYE, then you're automatically going to go out April 2017. Otherwise, you need your PAYE reference. Any more questions?
Once you get into it, it's not as complicated.
Well, that's so I take it you've been on the website.
We've already done the stake and everything.
Yeah,
And
and then it's there, and it's quite easy to follow within the plan.
we basically just jumped into the account and he does our PAYE anyway.
Yeah.
He charged us 300 quid for setting up the pension scheme.
Yeah.
And we are going with the nest, although it's not running as best as it could at the moment.
Mm.
It's guaranteed through the government, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
and it's free to join the nest.
Yeah.
Not setting food.
I mean, what you'll find now, the majority of the, well, a lot of the nest pension schemes, auto-enrollment pension schemes are free to join. It just depends how much involvement you want the pension company to have. But yeah, the nest is a good scheme. Because my wife, she works up at a Transmitting Power Station, and they set up the nest scheme for all the contract staff up there. And then it's transferable as well.
You know, as I say, all we've done is thrown it into the account as well. And they've got it already, because they did the PAYE, it was already part of the program they used, it was already geared up for doing it. So they said they're only going to charge us a minimum fee on top, because the system is running, they said they can look after it anyway.
Yeah, because I've got a few clients that are now and wait, and they're with one accountant, and they've got a system set up, and so they're just doing it that way because it's quite simple for them.
I think the account charges 300 quid for setting it all up and running it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Any other questions?
I think we all need to recover now.
Asking,
Yes.
what's the name of your accountant? Is that due to
So there you go. So I'll put that pension regulator link on the.
Yeah, I can share it then.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Okay.
I feel stressed.
Okay. Everybody's alive. That's not there. Any shocks?
Just suicidal then.
We've started something new this month. We're going to have one of you lots talking about your business and what it's like having a business in Dolgellau. And tonight it's the turn of Nip One, and Angela's going to come forward and give us a brief history about her business.
Right, well, knitting patterns are easier to follow than pension schemes. Come to my shop. Right. I'm just going to sort of cover basically who I am, what I do, where I do it, why I do it, how it's changed from the time I started to how it is now, leading on to a tricky area, which I actually think is the subject of another evening or another meeting, because it's something that impacts on all of us, and I want to sort of look at it in a way that's positive rather than negative. Right, okay. I am Siarad Busnes, and my husband and I opened a wool shop in Dolgellau at the top of the square 5 years ago. And the reason we did this was partly personal. My mother wasn't well, and we needed to be nearby. And also because this is a wool town. Dolgellau historically is a wool town. And at one time, in the way back when, we grew the sheep, we took their fleece, we spun it, we wove it, we folded it, we packaged it up, and we sent it out into the world. And at one time, we also knitted socks by the million, which I believe we used in the Battle of Waterloo. So Dolgellau is a wool town. When I first came here, a little bit more than 25 years ago, Dolgellau still supported the wool industry. There were 4 wool shops, and they were all well used. And gradually they tailed off one by one until about 12 years ago, Nora, who's been here forever, retired, and there was no wool shops. So when we were looking for a way of opening up my mother's bookshop again, oh, of course, there was another wool shop for a short while.
Yes, part-time.
Absolutely. And we were thinking about what to do. So we decided to open a wool shop, much to the relief of the wool-starved company in the outlying areas and in Dolgellau. We had lots of people coming in. It was pretty good. Hang on a minute. And also, there was a wool shop in Barmouth that closed, and a wool shop in Bala that closed. And we were a lone voice in the wilderness. Initially, when we started, it was just word of mouth that got people in, and they were delighted to find us. And we also found that the tourists were very attracted, because throughout the country, the wool shop business has had a downturn, but it is now fashionable to knit. Now you've got the celebrities knitting, and it's all over the web, and there are lots of free patterns on the web, and there are all sorts of knitting communities. But they can only get the wool online, so they like it when they can come into the shop, have a look at all the lovely colours, scrottle the wool, sniff it, and feel it, and generally enjoy buying it. So we found we got a lot of people coming in through word of mouth. What we offer is good customer service that you can't actually get on the internet. Retail shops can offer good customer service, and we also provide an opportunity for an exchange of ideas, people to talk about their creativity and gain confidence in talking to us, and we're cheerful, and it's generally a wholesome activity, and we get a lot of people coming back from holiday makers who come year in and year out, as well as having the local custom. But as we all know, there are, like Gwynedd is having problems with having cuts from the government. They're having to find ways of getting money. We also have problems in the towns. We're not getting the footfall into the towns because of the way business has changed. A lot of people shop on the internet. A lot of people like to go into the outlying areas for the variety that's offered. There's free parking, and there's lots to attract them. Whereas in the small towns, we need things to attract people and to keep people coming back. Today, somebody talked about the information centre. I was quite shocked when I heard Dudley say there's no use for them anymore. People aren't using them anymore. There is plenty of use for them. There's lots of information in them, and as I can't remember what her name is, but the Naomi, did you say? As she said, people get an objective view about what is available. In our towns, we need the museums, we need the activities, we need the playgrounds. All the things that the council say they can't afford to keep going will keep people coming in. And a rural area like ours needs to keep attracting tourism, because people come to this area because it's good walking, it's good views, it's good air. Small retail shops are friendly and cheerful and talkative, things that they're not used to. One of the things we get praised about in our little shop is that we're friendly and we're approachable. People like coming back. So we need to protect what we've got. And the fact that we don't have good public transport isn't helping either, because we're not getting in all the people from the outlying areas. When I first started my shop, there was a reasonable bus service, and I noticed, and I don't know if any of you have noticed, that a lot of the people coming from the little outlying areas, we had people from Blaenau-Ffestiniog, we had people from Friog, we had people from Fairborn, all coming into Dolgellau regularly. The older people who don't have cars anymore, all that sort of thing. It is important for them to have these facilities available. They can come and perhaps get a bit of light in their lives. A lot of people come into my wool shop to buy wool because it cheers them up. And it is, as I say, a wholesome activity. They've got something to actually do. And when I think we've been open about a year, and the local transport was reduced considerably. Buses come in and out of Dolgellau every 2 hours, so people have got to hang around for a long time before they can get back on their bus. That we noticed a lessening of local people coming in to shop with us, and we became more and more reliant on the holiday times when the tourists came in. This last year or so, I've had, again, because people are talkative in my shop, I've had a lot of people saying, the car parking charges are high. I've only got 5 minutes to shop. I'm going to have to go and put some more money. I'll be back. And they never come back. This is something we've all noticed, but it's a problem for me because I've got to shop. And when I have a problem, I panic. And then I sit and I think, and I try to think, well, why have I got the problem? And I will try and do a bit of research. So this morning, when I was sort of writing my notes, I thought I'd better do this research I said I was going to do. And I went online, and there are a huge number of reports that have been written about the reason why footfall in small rural areas, or towns even, has been reduced. And we all know it's because of the out-of-town shopping centres, the internet shopping, what else did I say? The parking charges, and there was another reason. All these things together have impacted on this particular problem. And the one conclusion I came to is that it's a problem that doesn't just affect me, it affects your business, it affects all our businesses. And how can we do something about this? The local authorities have a problem because they have to raise a certain amount of funds to justify the fact that they have car parking or whatever it is, the public facilities that people use. They have to pay for those, so they have a problem as well. And I was just thinking about how we can work together to actually do something positive, to get a positive dialogue with people that within Gwynedd that are actually putting the high charges on the car parking and all the other facilities, to making it more and more difficult for retailers, but also not only for the retailers, to the people who are offering services like the tourist information. We don't have a museum in Dolgellau yet, but it would be brilliant if we did, wouldn't it? The museum, the buses, whatever. It's an area that we all need to think about, and how we can work together. Now, I know in Harlech they had a problem. They had no short stay parking at all, and they got together by making a petition. And they didn't just petition the shopkeepers, they petitioned the workers and the residents, and they all got together and they found out what everybody in the area thought, and then together went to council, I suppose, to talk about it. And the problem that was affecting the whole of that particular town was addressed, not solved, but addressed. And I was at a craft fair on Sunday helping a friend of mine, and to a man, the people that came through the door all complained about the inability that they had to park.
Who was this?
Where was it?
This was in Harlem. They couldn't find anywhere to park near the centre, and when they could find somewhere to park, the machine was broken, and they had to keep putting money in because the machine was broken. I'm wittering on now, but so, yeah.
Can I just say, I don't know if people here have read the article that's going around on Facebook from the Trade and Tourism Centre group in Bala, who have also written to Gwynedd Council regarding car parking charges in Bala and how they can be addressed. Can I say to you, Dovrig, now, please can we get Colin Jones
I
from
was
the
going to
council?
make you an offer.
I was going to say, can Colin Jones come and talk to us
I
about
was going to make you an offer.
it?
I'll set up a meeting with tea and biscuits.
That's what
Okay, to discuss whatever you want to discuss. There's a whole range of things which you touched on there, which are quite difficult issues really, such as public transport, public finance. And I don't know where really perhaps we just should start, perhaps with the parking issue.
Yes.
And we'll bring you around the table, arrange a meeting with the panel if you like this,
Absolutely fine.
and anytime you like, okay?
I think parking is actually only one.
I agree.
Yeah, it is.
I think it has to be put in context. I mean,
We
I'm
live,
due to give the partnership, I think, aren't I? Something, a talk about
In about a
the
week.
potential cuts that we are facing, okay? Now, we've got to look at it in that, from that perspective as well. But whatever you want, I can provide you,
You're
okay?
going to get some, I sort of said, is it possible to get details of what revenue has been accrued from
Yeah.
the two car parks in Doncaster?
If you want a discussion about the cap
Yeah.
itself, I can arrange that, that's no
Yeah.
problem at all. But I think at some point in time, within
Yes,
that discussion
totally.
somewhere, we need to put the context. So,
I think one of the things that came up about the report that I read that the Welsh Government had put together, which was edited in March this year, was that, oh gosh, what's I going to say? Sorry. It's a lot of pressure we face. That each individual area has individual problems. It's not Dolgellas problems. It would be different to Harless, would be different to Ballas, would be different to anywhere else. And it's not just Gwynedd, but this is a tourist area, and we have a lot of tourists who are turning away from these little rural areas because they can go elsewhere where the parking is free. But Dolgellas has a lot to offer as a town from the tourist point of view. I mean, I have people coming in the shop telling me what a wonderful place Dolgellas is, and it is beautiful to look at. But they're under pressure to get in and get out.
Well, for example, 3 of my clients today have been tourists that come in on the off chance, and each and every one of them has complained about the parking and trying to work out if they've got enough time to have their hair done or not.
Yeah.
And that obviously impacts me.
Yeah.
If it's impacting the tourists, it's also impacting on the, regular clients. My last client was a complicated colour job, which took 3 hours. Her husband was going berserk on the wall saying, oh my God, I'm gonna have to move the car and whatever. And that just doesn't do business any good.
Well, it's not
we're
just
still, I think, we're still on long stay rates
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So, in fact, they're getting a cheaper rate than they would if that work wasn't going on.
yeah.
So,
It still puts on to the price of what they're having done sort of regularly.
But we're also missing half the car park. Because the bottom car park is completely blocked.
That's as much a problem as anything, the lack of parking at the moment as well.
I found when I got a problem, talking to other people helps, but trying to actually see the whole picture and why and how together we could work with the sort of authorities, if you like, to overcome this issue and see a bigger picture. But if we're just focusing on one thing, the whole community is losing out. Because people come here on holiday.
When we had the Chamber of Trade going on, we were doing the loyalty scheme. The Chamber of Trade actually took over the charges of the car park one day and made it free to prove how, by making it free, more people would come into town. And it was quite effective. The person to talk to would be John Abbey Decker, because he was very much involved at it.
We had something similar, when I was in the Midlands, there was a big to do about, and there were loads of car parking spaces. It's just that people weren't using them because of the costs. And after, it took sort of, I think something like 2 years, but it kept going on and on. In the end, on some of the closer car parks, they gave the first hour free. And that was just enough to tip the balance, and people would start to come back into the centre of the town again.
That's exactly what we've got, isn't it? Free parking in the middle of the town, when you pay for a drive.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever come into my business and complained about the parking charge.
You're very lucky. You're
I
very
just that's my experience.
I've heard a huge amount, and most of us have heard a huge amount about it.
In Barnabas, for instance, okay, the community council there taken the opportunity to put a surcharge on the car parking fees, okay? I think it's 10%. But they are then getting an income of about £60,000 per annum for local community facilities, whatever they want to use it for. But they're actually increasing the rate of the parking in order for them to get a direct income to use themselves. Now that's another issue, but that's their decision.
I mean, I've seen there's a fascinating article actually that was in the Daily Post or one of the big mainstream newspapers about Cardigan, and the fact that vandals wrecked 4 car park machines in the centre of Cardigan. The council at the moment can't afford to replace them, so there has been completely free parking in Cardigan for about several months, and they have had I think it's something like between 60 and 70% rise in the people coming to the town as a result of the fact that it's completely free parking, and the traders have benefited hugely. But then, it's a very moot point. Who can say what? My feeling here is at the moment there is, apart from the Malvac Trail and the mountains and the local shops, we have nothing that brings people to the town. People go to Barnes because it's got a big beach. And people go to the beach.
We have a lot that brings people to the town. We have some fantastic shops in Dolgeta.
That's what I mean.
People do come people come especially for the shops. They come for the scenery. They come for the wonderful coffee, and they come for
the wine
and very good breakfast. Yes. I mean, they come.
I don't think
There's a lot of reasons for people coming to the town. One of the things about the report that they said is we need to give people a reason for coming here. A museum would be brilliant. But there are, apart from that, there are already in Dolgeta a lot of good resources.
No, when I was just
I
was commenting on Dubrick's fact that down in Barmouth they have actually put a surcharge on the car parks, which is generating money. I don't think that would work here. We haven't got the footfall of people coming to the town to then put an extra surcharge on the car parking charges to raise money for the town. We just,
No,
don't
I'm
have
just saying
enough
that
people
that was
coming.
their choice, and they've taken that opportunity.
I think this is something we need to sit forward.
But I certainly will, and I think perhaps you will be getting in September a long list of potential service cuts, okay, amounting to, I can't remember exactly, something like £11 million. All right, so there will be public consultation, there will be consultation with businesses about that, and about that list of cuts. So this is not doing things, okay, not sort of doing less of it probably, but not doing things. What we are looking for from that, there's a small margin. If we're consulting on £11 million, we will have to cut 9. Okay, so we're looking for people's opinions on people in our ethnicist network On the priority, sorry, I just failed you there. Thank God there's an English teacher here. But it's a very, very, very difficult situation. And you see from that wide range of services that we are providing, if, for instance, we say, look, we will stop the income from our parking facilities, shall we say £100,000, then we've got to find it somewhere else. Which means possibly that you have a choice between a parking fee or not providing some kind of service for elderly people. I don't know, but that's the kind of choice you've got. But the kind of stuff I can provide you with, I can show you the whole budget of the council. I can show you what kind of where the cuts have to take place, in fact, because the two major, probably about 70% of the budget of the council is taken up by education and care of the elderly. So that's where, if you're cutting 15% off the budget of the council, where does it come from? You're not cutting education, you know. So, you know, it has to be about 25% on something else. So, but it's a conversation that has to be taken on. And I'm very keen for that conversation to occur. And what you're saying is, what is good about this kind of meeting is that we are talking together. And your input is important.
Well, surely the fact that we are attracting tourists, if we close everything down, we're going to lose tourists, we're going to lose huge amounts of income. When people come to stay in a bed and breakfast, they spend in the shops.
When you're cutting £10 million off the council's budget, it means jobs. It means directly, virtually directly, £10 million out of the local economy. Straight. We in fact, this whole discussion is, it's extremely serious. We've got staff looking at that list now saying, oh my God, that's my job. Okay? And we will have to make decisions, and there will be hundreds of jobs going. In fact, hundreds of jobs have already gone.
The lady who works on the public footpaths was telling me that there's terrific cuts there. We get hundreds of, well, thousands of people coming to this area to walk those paths. They're spending money.
So you would prioritise maintenance of footpaths over perhaps care of the elderly somewhere or other.
I'm not qualified to comment.
But that's the decision we will have to make.
Well, I'm not a councillor.
But I will show you. I will show you the budget. I'll give you the whole.
I think we'll move on.
Yeah. Make it ready for a meeting.
Basically, I just wanted to say who I am, what I do, and what I perceive to be a shared problem.
Before we listen to Joe, wasn't it? Yeah. Peter's just got one quick item she wants to cover with everybody.
Yeah, it was as soon as I sat down, I thought, oh, I won't swear, because I didn't realise we were on camera. But what an idiot, because I was asked the question up there about the pension, you pay into pension and it's a business expense. Of course, if you're a sole trader, then it comes off your profit. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be fine. So it'll still be a business expense seen as like wages. So I apologise for that, because I was trying to think of my next topic. Because I've got my reading glasses and can't see my small print. Well, I've got to go now, so thank you. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I say a few words about something on a completely unrelated but linked matter about the town generally? Please.
Okay, fine. Okay, yeah.
Right. I've been having chats with John Davies, who is head of the Natural Resources Wales project in the car park. Now, that's coming to an end. They have promised me faithfully that it will be the 12th of August when they're finished completely. I'm not certain whether that's going to happen. But as two things. One, although initially they said that there is no possibility of any compensation for business disruption as a result of the works, in talking with their land agent, he has said that it's a moot point. You can submit figures, audited figures for the last 3 years, same months, and if you can prove that your business has been impacted by the works, there is a possible compensation. But you've got to put a lot of, in other words, the onus is all on us to all the shops themselves to prove it, which I personally think is a very, very difficult thing to prove, because you've had seriously bad weather this year, you had an election at the beginning of this year, etc. But aside from that, John Davis has agreed that when the works are finished, he is happy for Natural Resources Wales to fund a double-page spread in the newspaper, effectively saying Dolgellau is open for business again, or, you know, look at all the works we've done, this looks fantastic, and would like suggestions as to how we go ahead with that, whether or not we put it over to Alex of the Cambrian to write an article and people have adverts all round it, whether people just want to be mentioned in the article, whether you think it's a good thing, a bad thing, what. That they are happy to fund it. Now, whether they would be happy to fund it completely, or whether it would be along the terms of subsidising adverts, say, for example, if everybody paid £10 towards a credit card sized advert on a double page spread, that's what they have proposed.
Will that only go in the one edition of the?
Sorry?
Will that only go in the one edition of the Cambrian News, or in all Cambrian editions?
I haven't, we haven't discussed that further. There's 2 different editions, isn't there? But anyway, that he is happy to enter into discussions with the business people of the town to go ahead with that after all the work's finished, because they can take some nice photographs and show everything that's been done.
Perhaps we can invite him to one of these meetings that he can.
He has not got the time to come to the meetings. Now, apparently there is a lady named Gail Jones, who was apparently the community liaison officer for all the works going on, although she was very noticeable by her absence because nobody can get in touch with her, and she was apparently invited to come to this meeting but said she couldn't make it. So
I don't know, I've never heard of it.
I had an email saying that she was sadly unable to attend the meeting. So if anybody, it would be her coming to the meeting, but of course that's not now going to be until the end of August, and we want to get this sort of out around about that same time. So does everybody think that's a good idea to go ahead with?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Right. Okay, so we will. I'll have a word with John Davis then and Alex at the Cambrian and work out exactly a more specific way of doing it. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. We've been discussing with Siarad with the footfalls law here. Well, a few months ago we discussed what could we do to bring more people here. We have subsequently spoken to Joe, who arranges events in Tremadog and around other places as well, yeah? No. Not just Tremadog. Okay. So, Joe, you've got the beer festival, you've got lots of things, I mean.
We have beer festival, summer fair, which is massive, Christmas fair, and then we have a couple of small events just for the children. Okay.
So I'd like to invite you to the front to share your experiences and how you've done it.
Yeah.
Right.
First of all, I can't take all the credit for organising events in Tremadog. I'm a small cog in a big committee, so which we do. We've got a couple of local councillors on board, several local business owners on board. I'll just tell you briefly how we started. 4 or 5 years ago to set up some sort of celebration for the 200th anniversary of the con. Since then, we've carried on. We hold, at the moment, 5 events a year. Summer fair, where we have a market stall in the street, live music, children's activity, fun fair, we involve the school, Christmas market, again, it's a street market going on into the evening, Santa's Grotto, it's a great draw. The beer festival was fantastically successful. That was just organised by local clubs. And then we also have an Easter egg hunt and a St David's Day fun for the kids. The reason that we decided to carry on was to give local businesses another bite of the cherry. So, for example, our summer fair is always the second weekend in September when all the holiday makers have gone home. Through good advertising, we can get 3,500 people in the village of 600-700. We've got a very strong committee, lots of people. We've played to the strengths of everybody in the village, and it all comes together fantastically. We are grant funded mostly, not we don't make a lot of money on events, so we're forever begging and scraping and please Rebecca, can we have? But it does manage to roll by. Is there anything, has anybody got any questions? And what, I'm just really wondering what it is that you're looking to do yourselves.
So I think that's the thing, we get there.
Well, Owen, when we first started that first meeting, you had a load of ideas written down on a piece of paper.
Yeah. Have you got them?
Another piece of paper with me. One of the things on the paper was something like a fair.
Food festival.
Food festival. Things were things like
Late night
child
shopping.
decoration, late night shopping.
Well, we do late night shopping at Christmas.
These are the things written down.
I mean, I know one idea was a giant's parade, thinking of a giant
Yeah.
cadder.
Yeah.
Something with the Quakers and all, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was Dark Skies, there was Classic Car Rally, there was, I'm trying to think of the other ones.
Calgary throwing.
Classic Car Rally is fantastic because they organise it all for you and they just bring, and people do go to Classic Cars. It's on our list for next year. They couldn't do the date we had this year.
And Harrod mentioned the fact that FI was a wool centre. Several years ago, we had, for many years, the wool race. And they were bringing wool up from Barmouth, up the river, and taking it back down again. But unfortunately, that has disappeared because the people who were organising it have, all bless it, died.
Did you interview at all about a large racing event? Have you heard of this?
A large race?
Very large, 5 days, 100k race based on Dolgellau. Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay.
When?
Well, this is this chap that came and talked to us, isn't it? But then he's sort of disappeared. He was
Well, I don't know where he's
somewhere.
gone. He's still, it was his race, but there's
Yes.
no way that.
You see,
But that's a very, very big event.
Yeah, my
We're talking
advice
about
would be,
thousands of people.
my advice would be to turn it on its head and form a committee, do the brainstorming. No, a small committee.
No, I was just
not-
thinking of another committee.
not, and start small and see what is possible. This is what's happened with us. From start small, see what is possible, and then expand it. I think this year, after 5 years, we will have perfected the summer fair. Not that there's ever been anything that wrong with it, but this year we've got an art exhibition, we've got a little fun fair, we've got, and everything will be, and the local businesses do well out of it, or the 5 retail outlets, definitely.
In fact, we had our local fair last weekend.
Yeah, I'm aware.
And believe it or not, it didn't do that as well as it normally does, because the tourists couldn't see what was happening because of the big mound of works blocking where they were parking on the car park. Right, to be able to see what was going on down the field. There were other problems as well, like low dogs.
What we do is we do have massive banners that go on the roundabouts. every end of the village, and they're there for 3 weeks beforehand, and it must get into people's, people now know, oh, what's going on in Trematon, because they are very successful events and do bring a lot of people in.
It just didn't go very well this year.
Yeah.
Question, are you in the Snowdonia National Park in Trematon?
No.
You see, that's got big bearing on things, because we can't put banners up in quite the same way that you can then.
Banners aside, how did you go about starting the committee? Because it needs to be started here, doesn't it? Let's stop thinking about the obstacles.
Initially, in the local press and the, I can't remember what it's called, the Welsh one and Wee one.
The York idea of Blue Onion.
Yeah, sorry, I'm the Welsh is poor. Local pubs, shops, anybody interested, come along, and that's how we started from there. I'm sure you'll get support from, anybody that's interested. It's very similar to this. We've got business people, we've got councillors, but it's just amazing where the help comes from. We've got a guy in the village who likes buses, and he gets the roads and he gets all the bus companies sorted out for me every year, and he's thrilled to bits to do it. Who really wants to do a job like that? But I've just sort of advertised. I'm more than happy to help you, me or one of my colleagues. And then you need to decide what you want to do. But I say I would go small and open it out. And we started with that one event. The first time we decided to do something for the children at Christmas. Funnily enough, we opened up the old town hall and just had a small grotto. And then it's, oh, should we do something for Easter? And year on year, everything's got bigger.
Yeah.
But I also think it's important to just do a few things that are for the community. Hence, we have a couple of things that are just the kids from Trematon and Portland.
It may be a good idea for us to map what we've got, okay? Because we've got a few events going on anyway. And also to find out what other events are going on which we possibly are not aware of, okay? Because there's a lot of stuff, lots of big stuff going on in quite a plenty. Big races going on there, with hundreds of people going there. Bike races, marathons, trail marathons, whatever they call it, okay? I'm aware that Red Bull have a serious downhill course nearby, which is big. I mean, potentially that's sort of a world-class event. But we need to sort of look at those and say, how are we tapping into these things, which are being arranged around us, if you like, but making sure that the town itself gets that input and the benefit from it.
But once again, we've got this slight problem. We've got Doggellau Partnership, we've got the Town Council, we've got this group, we've got Joe, who is sort of the Rotary. But it's like we need to have some sort of, I don't know, overarching way of connecting all those together so that they all talk to each other.
Should be the role of the partnership.
Yeah.
In my view, okay, the partnership should be, I mean, it's a bit historic partnership right now, and it's sort of evolved into what it is. And basically what's happened with the partnership is it's taken advantage of special interests. People like the Park Committee, for instance, have been extremely successful.
Can you explain what the partnership is? Because I've heard of this Doggellau Partnership and I've no idea what it is. Right. When I've asked before, I've been told the partnership, that's it.
Right. It's a group of people that got together a few years ago to get funding to do different things for the town. Right? So one of the members, Duffrey will shoot me if I get this wrong.
No, I just corrected.
One of the members, for instance, set up the monthly market that's held in the main square. That's one of the things that came from it. There's this heritage, either walk or museum or something, which we're trying to get off the ground. The park itself, which is just starting to get to its feet and look nice, and now it's got all the contractors made a mess of it again. We're looking at setting up a hydro scheme to raise money for the town. So they've got, and there's other fingers in, but they did a book, one of the books about Dog FI, old Dog FI with all the pictures in. They were involved with that. So they've had their fingers in lots of different things. Because it's quite well known, they're very good at getting funding. Right, money's sort of thrown at them in different ways.
Is there a website?
The unfortunate thing about the partnership is that it doesn't have a website, it doesn't have a Facebook page or anything of that sort, which is a problem.
Yeah.
And I think it's a problem because the members don't have that knowledge, really.
You can always come along to a meeting and see
But
what
meetings are all-
Are they advertised?
No, but I can tell you when the next meeting is if you'd like me. Oh, well, what I'll do is I'll tell Siarad Busnes and they can put it out by email.
That's a good idea, that's the start
Yeah.
of communication. Because the one thing that we don't do is talk to each other.
Well, the
Nobody
good thing
talks to
about this, okay,
That's
is
all.
that businesses are talking to each other as a group.
Now we are. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
before that, before
Okay.
you got together, it wasn't possible to talk to businesses in the town as a group, as a collective sort of. But now, somebody from this group should be on the partnership, basically. And there are representatives of the town council there. Originally, it was supposed to be representatives of the local community councils, private sector, I can't remember now, but public sector, whatever. But that sort of morphed into something different. Well, in fact, what it means is that people give their time and if they're interested in the project, the partnership facilitates the use of grants, basically. But it doesn't have an income, that's the problem.
But what we do want with the partnership is to have new members come along to take on new projects. For instance, the things that the council is going to stop funding, like looking after the footpaths is a prime example. So we don't need members to carry on with the projects that are already running, but we desperately need new members to help us take on new projects.
Well, there are obviously a lot of good things going on, which a lot of people don't know about. It would be good if we could sort of.
Yes, well, that's sort of why I'm here, because I seem to have fingers in lots of pies because of the council. So I'm sort of know a lot about what's going on within the different groups.
May I ask you what?
I'm Joe. I used to run the Stag for 12.5 years, and I'm now running the pet shop.
Okay.
Right, and I'm going.
Nice to meet
So I've
you.
got to go to another meeting. That's another Joe.
Two Joes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to go somewhere else.
I've spoken your seven.
Hi, Joe.
Yeah. The lady that owns this.
Yeah, you mentioned.
Union.
Yes, I know.
I went there to talk about the region.
Oh, it's going to have a word.
She said that she was going to let me know.
Right,
Information about your event.
No, there is no next one.
The rest of you, about one time. Yeah, yes. Will you take? Brilliant. I've got
To sell merchandise, really. We're selling merchandise.
And the lady who, that if you.
Excuse me.
But she hasn't come back to me, so I'm just wondering. Has she forgotten or?
Yeah, she probably has forgotten, but don't worry, if you got her, I'll get back to you.
Okay. Just to let you know as well, this is going to be a big event. I've been telling you, I don't know whether you're aware. It's to raise the chain. There are 4 races, 15k, 5, whatever, 10k is going on. So that'll, bring a lot of people into the community. And also, in Antis-Spiliog, the pitches round the series is going to be out in Lynette. So that's going to be a huge event as well. It's all good.
Right.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much.
Owen, tisio holi os bod nhw eisiau un mis nesaf neu ddim?
Dos na mis isa.
Wel, tisio holi os bod nhw eisiau un
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Thanks, Joe.
Do you think the Rotarians would like, some more Rotarians would like to come to the meeting?
A possibility.
Can you share that?
Yeah.
information? Sorry, John. Does anyone else think that, you said
we have invited the partnership as well. I think we've.
We've had the partnership talk to us.
Yeah, what's his name?
I can't remember.
Peter Jackson, yeah. We invite him every time.
Well, he knows it's on every month.
But then Joe is also on the partnership,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
she's the liaison.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Roy, for, well, let's show our appreciation. Well, it's a very busy month next month. Do you want a meeting next month? Do you want just a social evening, just meet up and just have a coffee? Or do you want to have a break? Or you tell me.
I think it's helpful to have, even if it's just a social evening, because
Shall we have just social evening? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I think it keeps in this. It then
Leading on.
September.
Do you, Ali, have would you mind if we come over to your place next month?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, it'll be the last Wednesday of the month.
yes, bearing in mind, Ali, that it
is August.
August, it starts at 5:30.
5:30 to about
as you
7:30
can see,
latest.
to about 7:30. What about the impact on the restaurant?
Well, why don't we just meet for an hour?
What time is going to be start?
We could just meet for an hour, couldn't we? Just have a chat, 5:05. So
Half
it's
5
six.
to half 6.
We'll just have a pop-up dog.
Okay. I would like to say something to this.
Ali, by the way.
I still don't know what date it's going to be and what day.
26.
26.
26 of
Which day
August,
it's going to be?
Wednesday.
Okay, that's fine, that's great. So I would like to, at the same time, I would like to invite you all for the evening meal in my place. I will arrange it there.
Oh, thank you very much.
And if you let me know if you have a figure of the people, how many.
So do you want to everything, we'll send this by email?
Yeah, we can arrange this. Then
We can arrange just between us.
Meeting including the dinner as well.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, can you all, well, what's the easiest way? Let email you,
Yeah,
email
well,
us?
if we email everyone at the end of this week.
Have we got your email address?
I don't know, but I'll do
If you can arrange that.
Yeah, we'll swap contact details.
Does anybody else want to say a word? Sue, give us, oh, she? I don't know that is she.
It's a word.
Sue, do you want to say anything?
No, you mentioned previously whether you wanted me to prepare a talk or for the group, giving some time.
Do you want to prepare a little talk for next month?
Next month?
Yeah, we've got 15 minutes. This is going to be a totally amphibial, informal.
We've got, that's BBD, if you've just been seeing that, it only lasts about 10 minutes. No, sorry. Yeah,
Sorry.
sure, no. Yeah, so.
So what I'll do, we'll let's just talk amongst ourselves now. See if, what benefits we've had from tonight. See if there's anything positive you want to tell us. Please share it on Facebook. Please make sure that you've already got your email address with us, so we can give you the information. Are we going to launch our website next month?
Well, I wanted to raise that now, actually.
Yeah,
we have decided to go ahead with creating a website. I think the fact that people have been missing emails and stuff like that, it may be going to junk or what have you. I think it'd be good to have a website where everybody can go and can see what's on next month, the previous month, what happened, maybe a bit of a write-up, and just maybe have a page that just explains everything. So we're not dependent on emails and word of mouth, and also people giving their time going around shops. It's always great to have face to face, and we continue that, but we can't cover everyone, unfortunately. So yeah, I just wanted to say some feedback as to what you'd like on there. What sort of information? Have you got any ideas how you'd like to take it forward?
Instead of creating a new website, there's already a Dogeshly website, isn't there?
So the Discover Dogeshly.
Yeah, so why can we just not get in touch with whoever that is and ask him to do
Discover Dogeshly have approached us because they want to get rid.
You want to get rid of it?
Yeah. But I haven't heard of them performance.
Well, it's not so much they want to get rid, it's the fact that they've got money sitting in a pot that could
Yeah,
be donated.
but none of them want to do anything with it.
And also the fact that the two people who set it up, who worked really hard on it, have now moved out the area.
Yeah.
And nobody seems to be able to take it on because
I've asked twice, and every time I email, I don't get any reply. So
maybe you're either.
I
Because
think that
Debbie
I'm
said
saying,
she tried speaking to you.
right,
so-
I think I might have spoken to her. Is there another lady called Sarah? I
Sarah,
messaged
right,
her 2 or 3 times backwards and forwards, and then
Right.
when I say let's meet, it never goes any further. So
There's a website that's there, it's called Control.
yeah, there's another website as well, which is quite a good one. So
This would be sort of for the community,
Yeah, well, this is.
so for us to find out what's going on for us, for our
It would not be
meeting.
good to let other people from outside see our community.
Yeah, there's no reason, it'll be public, it's just,
No, but I'm saying is if people see that there's a strong community here, that the community's trying to do things, it might encourage them to come and see what's going on.
yeah.
Is it a website for the business community of Dolgellau? Because this is only for Siarad Busnes, really, isn't it?
Yes, there'll be Siarad Busnes Dolgellau, so it'll be
So it'll
for
be Siarad
the
Busnes
community.
Dolgellau website, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, the community is a very wide,
Exactly,
very
yes.
thing.
For another Dolgellau site I'm thinking of, right, that has got pages where a lot of businesses already advertise anyway.
Yeah, it's not to advertise businesses per se, it could do that, but I think there are other websites you mentioned who do that already. This is for us to put on, right, this is our next meeting, very simple to begin with, you know, this is what we discussed last meeting, if you want to come along, please do. Yeah, that sort of thing, and we can share stories, for example, Angharad as story, for example.
I would just utilise your Facebook page already, it's free.
Yeah, well, we're not charging anything, so we're,
Or a WordPress blog or something.
that's, yeah, well, we've got it up and running, and it's zero cost from our point of view. So there's nothing for anybody to worry about that.
I don't know who runs it.
Yeah.
I think that might be the one I was talking about.
Yeah, something to bear in mind. I mean, if you have got any ideas, send them in an email or contact us on Facebook and stuff. But yeah, I'd rather you tell me what you want rather than us doing something and then.
I think it's quite good to go over what we have discussed and sort of have a look.
Exactly, just a record. Yeah.
Sometimes you forget.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Or you sometimes you think, well, I need to do that when you're at the meeting, but a week later you think, what was that?
Yeah.
So that was Ian.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so we'll go ahead with that then, and let me know if anybody gets something in their mind.
Oh, I don't know whether this is possible, but there, like you've just said, Discover Dolgellau has got funds, and at the moment they're not even released. I believe that in a couple of other banks, there are funds of groups that were involved with Dolgellau that
They're no longer there.
that are no longer there. So is it possible for us to ask the banks?
No, it's not because it's protection.
You have to find out.
You have to find out who they are, and those people need to come to the bank.
Yeah, but they have got seats.
Because it's protection, you can't give information of what we've got. Banks.
Because I know, I'm pretty certain there's one that has got quite a bit of money in it.
So I don't know what's the best way around that one, maybe. Hard to say. You have to find somebody,
There must be somebody.
who's responsible, because the statements will have got to someone. Thank you all for coming, thank you for.
Can I ask when you want a meeting with the dreaded local council?
I put it to you all, when do you want to?
Do you want it on a regular basis or do you want something special set up?
I think it would be good to actually have a proper meeting.
Special.
Yeah, especially with people like Colin Jones, because then we can guarantee that they're going to be there.
Yeah.
So have you
Okay,
got?
we want to leave it to would that be, would an early Wednesday evening other than this regular meeting?
Yeah.
That would be fine, as long as it's not between the 11th of August and the 23rd.
Okay, yeah, it won't be in August presumably, then. Early September sometime.
Early September.
Yeah, I'll try and set something up and then okay.
Definitely, thank you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for putting up with us for 2 hours. I hope it's been of benefit. If you want to stay here and talk amongst yourselves and bring some more ideas, please do so. As I said, next month will be with Ali. look forward to that.
More than welcome.
And if you'd like us know if you want to, if you're going to be there, so we can let Sally know. Thank you.
Thank you.